Hi everyone, I'm David from Osler Images. I'm a wedding and portrait photographer from here in Melbourne, Australia. What I thought I'd talk to you about today is using an ND filter to get the correct flash exposure that you need. I'm shooting with Profoto gear, they're the B1s, as well as using the Sony system, but I'm going to talk today about when I'm using the Profoto equipment. I'm limited to 200th of a second on the shutter speed when I use my Profoto B1s. So if I'm shooting during the day and I want to have bring the flash exposure up on a subject, I need to keep the 200th of a second in mind. Otherwise, you'll have a dark area on the bottom of the image due to the shutter sync. So what you have to use an ND filter. This is the ND filter that I'm using. Now you'll notice how you can cut down the light is just by turning the actual unit around. It actually goes from dark to light. So the way that I use this is it's just screwed onto the actual lens. Like so. And then obviously you just move around the dial until you get the correct exposure. Now the beauty is with the Sony system you can actually see that through the viewfinder. So what I would do is I'd set the minimum shutter speed or the maximum shutter speed, which is 200th of a second, and obviously the aperture. Once I've got it to 200th of a second, I will then dial this around until I get the correct exposure or the look inside the viewfinder. Then I can obviously set up my flash to get the correct exposure. Now you'll be able to see this when you look at an image that I'm going to show you now. So what I was actually after with this image was I wanted the background to be quite dark. This was actually quite a light day, but I wanted to bring the exposure right down. And I wanted to basically then use the flash to light up the girl in the foreground. So I had to use this ND filter there because I was limited by that 200th of a second. So I had to put in 200th of a second into the camera and then use this to dial down use the ND filter to dial down until I got the correct exposure. It's the only way you can get around the 200th of a second limitation with the Sony cameras at the moment with the Profoto. I'm hoping that as the Sony cameras become more popular, Profoto may release an update to their AirSync that allows TTL and also high-speed sync. But until that time comes, I have to use ND filters to get the result that I'm after. So if you have any questions about what I've just discussed, please leave the question below, and please like my page, and I'll be putting up another video very soon.